Welcome to another episode of the Online Prosperity Experience podcast. You're about to hear your host, Prosper Taravinga's powerful digital marketing strategies and actionable tactics that you can use right now. Prosper has helped more than 50,000 people from over 10 countries to create meaningful businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. Listen to this podcast so that you too can build your own business with less stress and overwhelm. Let's get started.
How to decline requests for free advice but still being helpful. And if you would understand, as a coach, consultant, or small, medium business, you always have a lot of people that come to you and ask you to bend over backwards for them, in return for maybe exposure, or they would send referrals to you and things of that nature. Well, I'm here to tell you that sometimes most of this give might not result in referrals or any reciprocity along the way. And I can understand as a coach or consultant, you have become an active, outgoing person that's seeking to have more in life. Guess what is also going to happen? You're going to attract all kinds of people. And many of these people will either help you on your way to achieve your dreams, and some people would actually be that stone that will sink you to the bottom of the ocean. So you got to choose wisely who you're going to have, close to you, because we are an average of the 5 people that we spend most of our time with. So if you're suffering from any burnout, or if you're finding it difficult for you to complete your tasks, yet you're always busy on Zoom calls and networking events or helping other people with X, Y, and Z, I'm here to tell you that maybe some of that stuff is actually drawing you backwards than it is propelling you forwards. And like I said, if you start on your journey to create for and relate to a lot of people, you're going to be attracting a whole lot of people. Some may be good, and some may not be the best in terms of the direction which you are taking. And some people will actually become lifelong friends. So you want to be also careful the people that you're going to be bringing into your space. Some might actually turn out to be lovers. And some may become family, friends that become family. And some will be there to teach you, some will be there to guide you, some will be there to offer you lessons, some will be blessings. So each and every one of these people, we're going to be coming across them. But today we're particularly talking about the ones that ask and never give anything in return. The chronic taker. Oh, for lack of a better word, the ask hole. The ask hole. And an ask hole is defined as a person who constantly asks for your advice, yet always does the opposite of what it is that you're telling them. Okay, so we're going to be talking about these people, the chronic takers and the ask holes that are prevalent in our lives, that we're going to be attracting as we go on our journey to create businesses that are profitable and enjoyable. And if this is the first time you're listening to this podcast, you're going to be like, oh my God, there's so much profanity. I'm spelling ask hole as ASKHOLE. So your mind is the one that's in the gutter. And my name is Prosper Taravinga, and I want to help you create a business that's profitable and enjoyable. And I don't want you to sacrifice your income doing what you love. I don't want you to sacrifice your time, your resources, your advice, doing what you love. You can have both. And let me walk you through my simple step-by-step plan and show you exactly how you can get rid of the ask holes in your lives. Oh, the chronic takers. So we're talking about the people that you start attracting on your way to success. You know what I mean? Good people, by and large, attract good people. But then again, if you are, on your way to growth and you're doing, work on yourself, you, in addition to the capacity of your own growth, you probably become generous, and you have this generous spirit that is open to helping other people be, do, and have a happier existence. And you know what? You start to attract the other sort of person the chronic taker. This is, like I keep repeating, this is maybe somebody who comes to you, constantly asks for your advice, yet they don't do anything about it. Okay. And let me explain to you what chronic takers really are. Okay, these people come in all shapes and sizes, and sometimes you won't even notice until it's too late, and you're like, oh my god, I've wasted hours and hours and hours on this person. I've wasted hours and hours and hours trying to explain to this person what is going on, and they just shrug their shoulders and walk away, and you are left depleted, no energy. Your energy is gone. And you don't, you could have used that time to either build your business or create something for somebody who's going to appreciate it. This chronic taker can actually come in different shapes and sizes. There could be a best friend, there could be a family member, there could be an employee, there could be a partner or a casual acquaintance, it could be a supplier, somebody who actually sells you your means of production. It could be a customer, a client, or even a teacher. So a chronic taker comes to you, they need your help, but just once and every now and again you ask something from them, whoop, radio silence. You don't hear anything from them. And you know what? They always need something from you. The chronic taker admits, first of all, weakness, confesses mistakes, and then they identifies with so many problems, especially things that have got nothing to do with who you are or what it is that you can, you are working towards. Let me tell you, you cannot have a 5-minute conversation with a chronic taker without discovering something new or something that's about to wreck their world, in front of them. They always see problems instead of solutions. You know what I mean? And you, because of the work you've done, the reading you've been doing, or maybe your coaching, your training, the information that you disperse, the expertise that you now have, you are the chronic taker's salvation, all right? Because you've learned to listen. You've learned to care. You are empathetic to the way they feel. You sit down with them. You're giving them suggestions. You make connections for them, and even sometimes lend them money. You know what I mean? You do all these things because you think you may be the only person that they can turn to, and because you actually, it may be in some, shape or form, it makes you feel good. But half of the time, you are left depleted. You are left burnt out without any other energy. And one thing that chronic takers take, especially from people like yourself who are well-to-do and good enough people, is the ability to trust other humans. All right. Once you've been used, and once all of that, trust has been taken advantage of, guess what you're gonna do? You will definitely not lend a hand to somebody who's well deserving later on in the future. And this is the biggest problem, and it's not the problem for the chronic taker. You know why? Because you're offering. The problem is with you, who is chronic giving. All right. Chronic takers are, obviously people that are walking throughout each and every one of our lives. And just because we have gotten an innate understanding of how life works, or we've got an advantage, and we've got that guilt of thinking, oh, maybe I'm in a better off position, let me just help, or let me do my part to help this certain person. Do you know what chronic takers become? They become an attractive person to that accomplishment that you have achieved, for two reasons. You know why? Because first, they give you the opportunity to help. We're always looking for situations that we can contribute, just so that we don't feel like we are, blessed with what we've achieved. Maybe you have so much money and you find somebody that you grew up with is not doing so well, and then they hit you up on WhatsApp or some sort of communication, and then they just tell you some bogus story about their dog or their mom or their dad who's about to go into some major surgery. And guess what? You are there to help them. And there's nothing that feels better than actually helping, because You are enabling somebody to have a happier existence. And then the second thing is they come to you with complicated problems, things that you're just like, you know what, if I can just put $50 towards this, or $100, or my time, or whatever it is, then maybe I would help this person go past this burden. Let me tell you something. We are not given problems that we cannot handle. Each and every one of those chronic takers that come to you with problems that you can readily have a solution for, let me tell you what, they already know the answer to it. They might just be lazy to go out and seek it out for themselves, or they are just looking for somebody else to blame. Because if you give them a solution and the thing doesn't work out, or it turns out to be a wrong solution to whatever problem they might have, they are going to be pointing fingers at you behind your back. So they come to you with complicated problems, and there's nothing somebody who is a high achiever or somebody who's a success-oriented person like better than solving problems. We are entrepreneurs, right? And let me tell you something. Our goal is to help people, our clients. You know what I mean? We want to spend as much time changing people's lives and solving people's problems. And that is what a chronic taker looks at and is like, okay, I'll take advantage of that. It might just slide into your DMs. It might just come through a WhatsApp message or a phone call, taking you away from your podcast, taking you away from recording your videos, taking you away from time with your family. That's what chronic takers do. They come in with these problems that obviously your ego is hungry to solve. And let me tell you, the intellectual and emotional rewards for solving problems are almost as great as the joy in helping. So don't fall prey into that, because they're going to come, grab whatever they grab, and then they walk away and give or leave nothing in return. And then you're left depleted, and you're wondering why you are doing all these things for all these people, yet the one day you need somebody to help you changing a tire or writing a piece of copy on your website, nobody shows up. All right. So here's an interesting thing that you should know about chronic takers. You like them a whole lot more when they like you. And let me tell you something. If somebody is looking for help or looking for you to do something for them, obviously they're gonna come and batter you in order to stroke your ego, and then make you want to reciprocate that by offering them whatever it is that they're asking. It might surprise you that people that are chronic takers almost always resent people who actually help them. It is a truth universally known that when somebody's better than you, they're doing they achieving their goals and all that stuff. Most people don't like that, because it shows it shows them the person that they could have been, that they're failing to become. I don't know exactly where the resentment comes from or what its ingredients are, but I know fear and envy must be part of it. So these people already are afraid of whatever situation they're going through, and yet you're just sitting there and you give them an answer immediately without even taking a second thought about it. First of all, obviously they're going to be happy about that, but then they're going to be envious that, wait a minute, how come I don't know as much as this person does? How come I don't earn as much as this person does? And then that envy obviously comes to become jealousy, and jealousy is definitely one of those traits that a lot of people end up stabbing you in the back just because they don't want to see you progress. Okay? But I've actually observed this reaction time and time again. People are either afraid or they get envious, and those are very bad emotions for anyone to be holding. And the difference between a chronic taker and some independent people like yourself who occasionally need help just simply because we are working with other people is a chronic taker never gets themselves entirely out of trouble. You know why? Because if they do get themselves out of trouble, what's going to happen? They're not going to get that comfort that they get from the relatives or the friend or the people that are always giving them a shoulder to cry on. And there's always something wrong with them. There's always something happening with them. Maybe, their accountant doesn't show up to a meeting, or maybe their accountant is not doing the best with their books. They're always looking for help, from people that are doing well, and they're just wondering why things are not working out for themselves. There's always something that needs fixing, especially somebody's a chronic taker, because they never take the time to actually want to learn how to get themselves out of that trouble. So maybe you're identifying with being a chronic taker yourself. All right, maybe you are identifying within a chronic with being a chronic giver yourself. Just hang around and I'll be explaining exactly how you can make sense of the world around you. So whatever situation somebody is in, despite all your best effort, all the time, the money, the wisdom that you're going to be giving to somebody who doesn't appreciate the advice that they're being given, chronic takers never manage to climb out of whatever hole they're in or whatever hole they've dug themselves in. There's always a problem. There's always a situation that they're in. Either it's their kids, either it's their spouse, or it's their business, whatever it is, and they always want you to help them solve those problems. So if you're a chronic taker, stop being one immediately. Just recognize that nobody owes you anything. All right, we're all here to live, we're here to learn, we're here to contribute. Chronic takers are people who feel entitled that the government has to pay for their kids, the government has to pay for whatever their bills, the government has to look after them, or those that are earning more than they are should foot whatever bills that they are going through or solve whatever problems that they're encountering. Just if you're a chronic taker, take a moment. Just face the fact that anything you want must be worked for. And try to understand that the hard work you need to do will then give you that satisfaction and the pleasure of you living your best life. So that is also the advice that you need to give, especially if somebody comes to you, if you're a coach or a consultant or some sort of professional, and they're always asking for advice and they're always asking for you to help them with X, Y, and Z. Just help them understand the situation that they're in, but then don't make it easy for them to just get answers or a solution and then walk away, because they're not going to learn. They're not going to learn how to get themselves out of that. And it's in the journey of actually understanding what you're going through that we derive the most satisfaction out of life. Because if they're just going to come back again with yet another problem, every level has its own devils. So yes, you might get a band-aid, to fix today's problem. But what about the problems that are coming in tomorrow and the next day and the next day and the next day? So if you have one chronic taker in your life, you probably have half a dozen if you're a well-to-do person and if you're working really hard in order for you to elevate yourself, all right? In the African context, we call it black tax. Okay, for my Caucasian friends out there, I want you to understand what black tax is. Black tax is when your family, especially in the African setup, already anticipates that if you have elevated yourself from poverty or you have left the country of origin, you now have to look after everybody else that comes after you. You now have to look after, the whole family, their needs, their wants, and throughout up until they probably die. And you can't tell them nothing. So I understand some people that I'm working with, especially if you're, not regionally from Australia or America, and you're coming from, maybe you're an immigrant, you have family, responsibilities that are always nagging you to do something for them. So you might have a chronic taker in your life and you might not even realize that. And you probably have half a dozen. Each and every one of them comes up in different, shapes and forms and in different stages of your life. Just identify who they are and be sure to distinguish them between a chronic taker who will give back nothing and a high maintenance, partner who will give back what maybe they get, but require a lot more extra attention in order for them to reciprocate. And once you've got your list, make yourself a promise that you never again take their bait. Yes, it might be hard. It might be difficult for you to wean yourself off of people like that. It could be a client who is a high-paying client, but if you are going to be working hours and hours and hours trying to, get them to get results, then how are you going to be also dealing with your other clients, that are also expecting results from you? So the next time one of your your chronic takers comes to you with either a problem or a request, just do one of the following things. First of all, you could sympathize, but offer no help whatsoever. And the second thing is sympathize and then tell him one of your problems, and you'll see how quickly they're going to be running away from you. Because you're also trying to grow your business. You're also trying to have a happier existence. And I can understand if you're trying to grow your business, as an entrepreneur, maybe just networking or dealing with people is just one aspect of running a successful business. You go from hiring and managing new staff, balancing books, driving growth, and a whole lot more. Multiple different things. And maybe you have to continuously market yourself to other people so that they can get to know, like, and trust you. And at the end of the day, you really want to, your real goal is to help your clients. You want to spend as much time as possible changing people's lives and solving people's problems. And you want to solve genuine problems, not problems that come from assholes, people who just, constantly ask for your advice, yet they always do the opposite of what it is that you're telling them. It wastes your time, it wastes your resources, it wastes your energy, and it depletes your level in trust in humanity and with people that will genuinely need your services later on. So like I said, when somebody comes to you, sympathize, but offer no help whatsoever. If you need to help somebody, because if somebody's not paying you, they don't pay attention. They're just going to anticipate that you help them and do the thing for them, and then they walk away and go and, annoy somebody else. Or if you can sympathize and then tell them one of your problems and watch them scatter around and go away, because they don't know how to help other people. It's not in their nature. So try either of these tricks, and then you'll be amazed at how fast the chronic taker loses interest in you, because you are of no help to them anymore. And when a chronic taker senses that he's wasting his words on somebody equally afflicted, he will find the first exit door out of your life. Pronto. Immediately. They're not going to wait around. And if he values your relationship or whatever friendship or whatever connection you have with them, maybe he'll come back and maybe then say, give you a feedback on what has happened to them. And if he doesn't, they won't. So by you eliminating this chronic taker from your life in this way, you will have maybe more time to spend on worthwhile relationships that are profitable and you actually enjoy, and less stress from carrying around the weight of countless problems that are not even your problems at all. And as an added bonus, you truly, start functioning at a higher level because you start doing work that matters for people who care. And let me tell you something, a truly dysfunctional relationship may be upgraded to a genuine friendship, because people now notice that they cannot just take advantage of you. And your friendship might actually be resuscitated, because your friend may now figure out how to actually solve their own problems and no longer be a burden to you. Have you ever flown in, airlines like Jet Airlines or, any of those cheaper airlines? You know what they do? They charge you for luggage. So any extra luggage that you're carrying around is extra weight that you're charged for. So who is charging you for all the extra weight that you're carrying that is not even yours? Because every time you take on somebody else's problem, you're going to feel the emotions. You're going to try and solve that problem and find solutions to that problem. And eventually that person just walks away. You know why? Because they're constantly just asking for your advice. Yet they always just do the opposite that you tell them anyway. But I mean, there's one possible exception. I'm not going to be mean and rude. If this, chronic taker is a family member, maybe you may want to take care of him as part of your own family's responsibility. I don't know what your charity, goes as far as, but you pick and choose the people that you will be spending as much time on, because a lot of the burnout that we experience as, entrepreneurs is just simply people that we are giving a lot of our energy to, and they're giving nothing in return. So if you have no choice, I mean, obviously, if you really have to take care of somebody, yeah, then that's fine. But if you do that, recognize that you're not helping them, so that it's going to return back to you. You know, it's not coming back to you at all. So at the end of the day, I mean, I can understand. You can still say no to people who ask for free advice. You can still say no to people who ask for your time, and you still can be helpful to them. You know, I'm in the service business where we help our clients generate hundreds of qualified high-ticket leads like clockwork, so they never have to rely on cold calling or emailing just to beg clients to hire them. All right? We come across people that want us to help them maybe with their websites, to help them with their email marketing, to help them with their Facebook and all that stuff. All of those are billable products. If somebody's not willing to pay for any of our time with that, we're not going to help them with that. So like I said, I'm in the service business, and I get a lot of these requests for advice. And sometimes people just want it for free just because they have access to you. And I know many of my colleagues in various advisory roles, or people that are maybe financial planners, people that are life coaches, they also get asked for free advice. And your natural inclination is to say yes, because many of us got into that service role in the first place because we love to serve and help people. And furthermore, a free, no obligation conversation sometimes, yeah, it leads to paid work, either directly with that person or with somebody else that might refer to you. But a lot of these people just constantly ask for advice, yet they always do the opposite of what it is that we tell them. Or they go and get somebody to implement for you cheaper, better, faster. How many times have you had somebody sit with you on a Zoom call and you map out their funnel, you map out their marketing strategy and everything else, only to find that they went and got somebody, in another country, or somebody who is related to them to implement whatever you had created for them? You know? So some of these things will just end you frustrated. You think you're helping, but it's all going to come back to bite you. I mean, on the other hand, as your business grows, you're going to get more well-known, and these requests are going to grow. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to be wanting to be around your energy or whatever success that you've created for yourself. And let me tell you something. These, chronic takers, if they go unchecked, the people who ask for free advice can actually consume your whole calendar and overwhelm your energy. We only have 24 hours in a day, and if maybe 4 or 5 of those hours are going for pro bono work or for free work, how much of those are going to be billable hours that you're actually going to be making money off of? Therefore, you need a process to decide what to do for free and how you're going to structure maybe the freebies that you're offering, and what it is that you're going to be declining. And ideally, you need to outline maybe on your website or in the way you talk to people what you say no to and what you say yes to in advance, so that you don't feel guilty and the other person doesn't feel guilty for being rejected. So you want to set aside specific time limit on how much you're going to be giving free advice and how much you're going to be doing free work for. And then, if anything, if you want to be giving charity, do it in a way that is recognizable. Partner with organizations that actually distribute free advice, so that you don't feel guilty for those people that just creep in and ask you when they slide into your DMs. And have on your website, things that are free, freebies that answer a lot of the questions that a lot of people have. And I advise you to stick to your boundaries. All right? Because at the end of the day, if you're just going to be giving people free advice, if you're just going to be giving people all your time, you're not actually helping people. Because asking the person who asks you for help to instead do something for themselves, e.g., maybe make an appointment or go to a designated event or read some material, is not good for you. But you actually then manage your time efficiently. And it is also good for the other person. You know why? Because you're encouraging them to be more resourceful and more sufficient. Teach a man to fish. And ultimately, you know what happens? They'll be the one that's managing their own career, their finances, their life. So you help them by actually helping them help themselves, by pointing them in the right direction and having them take the right action right from the get-go. So once you've done that, just change your process so you don't have the critical, the chronic takers or the assholes constantly, asking for information or stuff from you. Because at the end of the day, I mean, obviously we're here to contribute, but how much can you keep giving, especially to people that keep coming back with the same problems, with the same situations, and then they never help you move your own dial further? Let me tell you something. I want you to free yourself up so you'll be able to deliver outstanding results to your clients, and then you can win their loyalty for life. You know why? Because these customers that you actually spend time with and they're paying you will definitely sing your praises to their family, to their friends, to their colleagues, and at barbecues, or even to strangers on a bus. All right? I understand what you're going through right now. I understand that we've got chronic takers and these people are around us. If you're a chronic taker, if you've just been taking from somebody, stop immediately. For both yourself and somebody who's a chronic taker, one of the best possible solutions that you can start doing to, take control of your life is to have them listen to this podcast. Share it with somebody who has just been taking from you. Share it with somebody who's just complained to you about giving. Because let me tell you something. This is a quick self-help, podcast that will give you the habits you can apply in your days to actually strengthen your personal life and work. We've got work to do. We've got time ahead of us. You're going to need all the energy. Don't let chronic takers or assholes take it away from you. Bye for now.
Thank you for joining us today. If you have any questions, let's continue the conversation in the Live Long Digital community. Become a Live Long Digital community member today. This community is for ambitious entrepreneurs and small business owners with the drive to take control of the future of their businesses and achieve huge success without stress and overwhelm. As you heard, Prosper can help you by teaching you marketing strategies that work. So look no further than the Live Long Digital community of entrepreneurs and highly successful business owners. Join our community today. Find us on www.community.livelongdigital.com.au. Network with other driven entrepreneurs and find the expert guidance you need to take your business to the next level. www.community.livelongdigital.com.au